Chapter 39. Destruction. My mind misgives some consequences, yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's reveals. The empire of terms and despised life closes in my breast, in the same way veil forfeits the untimid death. But he that hath the sheerest steerage of my courage directs my sail. William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Nobody needs to know. Nobody ever needs to know. I thought you were going to think about it. If only not thinking about it would make it go away. If only I could hide away under my bed covers and wait till daylight to come. Like I could when I was nothing more than a little girl who was scared of the dark. If only, if only. I should never say if only. That's what my dad used to say. I don't have to think about it. I don't even have to mention it to anyone. Not even myself. And no one ever needs to know. Don't be stupid. They're bound to find out in the end. It'll be all too bloody obvious. Not if I die first. So you're hoping for death now? After everything you've come through. I didn't mean that. Well, that's what's going to happen in the end, isn't it? Lucius is going to have to kill me to prove his loyalty to Voldemort. Not only that, but he'll probably have to do it soon. But you know that he won't do it. He can't. He's told you that already. So what's he hoping for then? It'll just make myself inconspicuous and then everyone will forget me and leave me alone? My God, that must be what he's hoping for. Well, the little plan's not going to come to anything, is it? Soon it'll be all too conspicuous. And what else can I do? I can't hide it, not forever. But I can't tell him. I just can't. Have you stopped for a minute to think that this might be the one thing that could save you? Save me? I doubt it. No, he can never find out. He'd kill me. He's already told you that he won't kill you if Voldemort orders him to do it. What makes this any different? It just is. This is probably his worst nightmare come true. And even if he doesn't kill me himself. And even if he doesn't kill me himself, when he finds out, we'd both be killed when everyone else found out. I know it. So what do you want to do? Wait around for him to discover the truth before he does? Wait around for them to discover the truth before he does? He's your one chance of salvation. How could he ever get us out of this? He won't leave this place in Voldemort's ranks. He won't leave his place in Voldemort's ranks. I know that he won't. How the hell is he going to save us this time? He'll save you, Hermione. He always does. But he wouldn't know. Why wouldn't he? But why wouldn't he? Why would he when he discovers what's happened? Because he's the one thing that ever meant something to him. That's not true. His beliefs, they meant the world to him. And he gave them up for you. I slowly worked my way around the table, pouring wine into every goblet I passed, barely even looking at the people I'm serving. I've got a good look at them all when Ron and I first served them for dinner an hour ago. I don't need to look at their face. I don't need to look at them anymore. If I look at them, then they might see what I'm hiding. It might be written all over my face, for all I know. I roll my eyes up and look very briefly at Ron as he pours wine to the opposite side of the table. He doesn't look half blind with rage that he did the last time we served the Death Eater's dinner party. He just looks blank. He's got his fight's gone out of him. This is just a chore for him to get through now. It's my fault. It was me that tore the fight out of him. I was his hope. And I threw it back in his face. I lower my head again, pushing my guilt down my throat into my gut. I pour the wine, 1 goblet, 2 goblets, 3, 4, 5. My heart stops as I see a pale, long-fingered hand resting on a smooth wood of the table in front of me. His hand. I'd know it anywhere. I take a deep breath and pour the jeweled red liquid into his goblet. Breathe. Breathe. Don't look at him. Somehow, despite my shaking hand, I manage to pour the wine. I can feel his eyes on me. He's watching me, I can tell. The hairs on my back of my neck prickle up. And to distract myself, I turn my head to the side slightly. Avery is sitting a few chairs down from Lucius. His eyes are resting on Lucius, watching him as he watches me. His empty blue gaze flickers onto mine. I lower my head hurriedly and move to the next goblet. But I can see now in the very corner of my eye that Lucius is still watching me. Look away, for God's sake. Everyone is watching us. Everybody knows we can't hide it. I meet Ron for a few more moments. We look at each other, nod, and wordlessly return to our bench on the wall, out of sight of everyone, hidden in the darkness. We sit in silence for a long while, neither of us saying anything. It's not necessarily an awkward silence, although perhaps it should be considered everything that's happened between us. Well, I don't know. It doesn't feel like an awkward silence to me. Maybe it does to him, but not to me. I'm just quiet because, to be honest, I don't have enough energy to keep up a conversation. I'm so tired. Well, it's hardly surprising, is it? People say it goes with the territory. When do you think this thing is going to be over? I ask. When do you think this thing is going to be over? I ask quietly. I'm not redoing it. I don't care anymore. More to shut out my own thoughts than anything else. He sighs with resignation. Not too long, I shouldn't think. We'll have to leave before sunrise, at least, won't they? I turn to him with a tiny frown. Why? He looks at me. Oh, the boat. They'll need to catch the boat to get home, won't they? Can't you get it after sunrise? He shakes his head. It only runs at night. Thought you knew that. No, I mutter. Why does it only go at night? He wrinkles up his nose at the thought. I don't know. I just heard Bellatrix tell Dolohov ages ago that it doesn't run in the daytime. He pauses, apparently giving it some thought. Could be for extra protection, maybe. It'd be harder to see the boat at night, wouldn't it? I considered that for a second before I nod. It just makes sense, I suppose. And what reason would Ron have to lie? Besides, he could explain why I've only been over the river at night, never seeing the sun, never, ever going to see the sun ever again, except in my dreams. It's funny to think, isn't it? He murmurs, looking out at all the people in front of us. Of them going home. I mean, they must all have, like, normal lives, aside from what they do for you-know-who. Homes. Families. Jobs. He trails off. It's hard to think about, but you can't help it. That the people we're fighting against, the people that do such terrible things in their masters' names, might have normal lives. My gaze wanders along the table, desperately trying to avoid resting on Lucius. I can see his bright hair out of the corner of my eyes, but I won't look at him. I won't. And my eyes wrench themselves around almost of their own accord, coming to rest on Lucius once again. He's still looking at me. McNair's sitting next to him, trying to talk to him animatedly. He just doesn't seem to be listening. He's just staring at me. How am I supposed to tell him? I know I have to. I know it, but how could I even begin to tell him? It would destroy him. Destroy him like he's destroyed you. I slide my hand over my stomach. Still he stares at me, looking at me with an odd mixture of need and hunger and hatred. God, this is so dangerous. Anyone could see what's going on if they just look at us. It's written all over our faces. I wrench my gaze from him, and sure enough I can see Avery staring at me too, looking at me with those horrible blank eyes of his, with the tiniest of smiles playing over his lips. My blood clots, in frozen clumps, and I wipe my hand away from my stomach with my hand away from my stomach. Are you all right, Hermione? Ron's voice. I clinged onto it, and I pull my gaze around to face him. What's the matter? He whispers. I swallow. Nothing. My voice shakes as I speak. Nothing. He looks at me for a few moments before he turns and looks at the dining table again. Bellatrix doesn't look too happy, he mutters. Look at her. I'll bet you 5 gallons she's going to flip. I follow his gaze, and sure enough, Bellatrix is glaring at Lucius, her black, furious gaze flickering occasionally between me and him. I quickly lower my head, desperate not to give her any more reason to suspect.